Welcome to Celestial Empire. We actually first looked at this game almost 20 months ago in March 2022 when they had their first public demo. But now there is a public playtest, so you can all play this game today. Don't hesitate to check in the video description below for the Steam page where you can request access. The Emperor has chosen you as a new provincial governor. Design the city of your dreams, take care of your people's needs, develop efficient production chains, and train with other landlords. Being a playtest, not all features are actually in the game, but let's look at what is there. First of all, the music, quite relaxing. I think it goes well with the Chinese theme. And then the graphics. I mean, this is a city builder where you can zoom super close, as you can see, and up close like this, the graphics are amazing, right? There's a level of detail that is pretty incredible for a city builder. On the other hand, being a city builder, you'll probably never actually be at that zoom detail, and you'll probably play more from up above like this. And at this level, I actually find the graphics a bit blurry. I don't know if it's just me, I haven't tinkered too much with the options, so don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if you disagree. But yeah, they do feel like we're losing a lot of clearness. At the same time, once again, this is a city builder, so it's not like the graphics are the most important thing out there. Let's focus more on the UI and the gameplay mechanics. Now, in summary, in terms of gameplay, this is Anno in China. Okay, I'm making it a bit black and white. There's obviously a few differences, but if you like Anno, there is good chance that you will like this game. You have multiple tiers of population, actually 4 different tiers of population, if I'm not mistaken. So when you take on a house over here, this is a house level 1, which is full of those peasants, right? You can upgrade it to worker, and then again to the next level and to the next level. At each level, you will have different goods that are needed. For example, those peasants need rice, they need logs for winter in particular, they need clothes, and they need access to the market. If you provide all of this, your people are gonna be very happy, which will enable you to tax them. There is a tax mechanic over here where you choose the level of taxation that you want to have, and based on this taxation level, you have more or less an happiness, bonus or malus, and that's why you want to, give all of those fixed so that you still have a positive happiness while you tax them a lot. Then in each of those houses, you have a number of people, which is linked to, what services do they have access to. So it's almost the opposite of Anno, where in Anno, the number of people that you have is actually linked to the productions that you give them, and the happiness is actually mostly linked to the services. In this case, a bit more the opposite, where again, the number of people is linked to services. Things like, are they linked to your city center over here? Are they close enough to a decorative building like this fountain? Are they in range of the shrine, a religion building? And then again, similar to Anno, you're going to have production chains that you need to manage. For example, over here, to make some tools, we need to start, with 2 different mines, the copper mines and the tin mines. Then you put this into a bronze smelter, and then you put it into a blacksmith to have the actual tools. The UI at the top, I think, works fairly well, with a few exceptions I'm gonna share in a second. What I think works really well is, you can easily see at a glance a lot of your key numbers. For example, how much money do I have? How much am I making right now? How much research point do I have? How much workforce do I have, and are they happy or not? Similarly, my key materials like planks, tools, and in the future the bricks, I can see that easily. What I don't like that much is for the other key resource, like my fuel or my food, I have to hover over them to see them. I would love for us to be able to choose, for example, okay, I want to only see the fish, or I want to only see the rice, or I can see both easily. Particular, something as important as food, like is it going up or down? That's quite a big one. Now you may have just seen that the city has changed quite a bit. We are now in winter. This is what you can see over here. We have the seasons of the year, all 4 seasons, and your production, your consumption actually changes during the different seasons. So for example, rice, I'm not producing any rice right now. I'm at -10, so I have a consumption of 10 and no production. When I go back into summer, then my rice farms that are over here in particular are going to restart. Right now they are not starting at all. So a lot of great aspects from a game like Anno, like multiple tiers of population and each of the different buildings, requiring different types of workforce, production chains that are pretty interesting. They even have some interesting complexity. For example, if you look at the lumberjack hut, you need to have enough trees in range if you want a 100% productivity. Or for the rice farmers over here, you need to put, rice fields, those modules over here, similar to the module farms in Anno, but you also need to irrigate them. So you need to have a wind pump over here, then you'll have canal of water, and then when your canals get a bit big, you're also gonna need pumps to push the water even further. And actually those rice farms, they even have multiple levels. There is the ground level over here, level 1, level 2, and you need to irrigate every single level. Now, if I stop my water, for example, over there, only this small level would be irrigated. If I stopped it over here, only this one and that one. So I have to go all the way over here to irrigate also this last level. You need to manage your logistics with warehouses and granaries, which have a range, but also have a number of carts. So, if I put too many buildings close to a warehouse, then it's not gonna work. By the way, when you're in the warehouse, you can really see a lot of details about all of your productions. For example, if I look at the log over here, I can see how much I have in storage, but I can also see how much am I producing and from which building, and how much am I consuming and from which building. So for example, for the logs over here, I'm consuming 15.4 per minute. This is 8.1 from the citizens need and 7.2 from productions. So I really see the details and I can optimize a bit better. This means that my city warehouse are full, by the way, and I think it's actually for this log. You can see this is really full there. Which leads me to another point, is you can do trading over here. Unfortunately, right now I can only do one caravan. So let's add another trade outpost, and then with this I think hopefully I will get a second caravan, if I'm not mistaken. Here it is. Now we have one more caravan. So we can sell a bit of planks. We have different cities to sell with, quite close, like this one is less than 2 minutes away, this one is 7 minutes away. They have different prices, right? So for example, this one you'll buy at 7 coins, you'll sell at 6, this one at 30. Then you can decide to buy or to sell, obviously. You choose your quantity, you can choose if it's a once-off or a cyclic route, and you go for it. And now we're gonna make some money, right? There's also a tech tree. We've already unlocked all of the tier 1. We're now in tier 2, the workers. You can see that some are also blocked behind specific numbers of workers. And then last but not least, because this is definitely something that is not in Anno, you also have religion, where we have 3 different gods and we can gain favors from them. We can use some of our faith points to gain favor. For example, this one will reduce the additional coefficient on winter demand by 20%. So, when you're in winter, you need a lot more logs for your fire, for example, and this consumption is going to be reduced. So it's a pretty good one. And you can also buy some of these things over here, which are a bit like items in Anno 18 Android, right? For example, this one, Miracle of Food, will give me 50 of every food that I have unlocked. So it will cost some points, but then I can use it. Or this one increases the face and sign points generation by 50%. Now let's talk about what I don't love so much. Starting with the minimap over here. Don't get me wrong, I actually love the fact that we have a minimap and that we can hide it. But there's a couple of problems. The first one is there's a bug that this minimap keeps disappearing. At the beginning of the video, I didn't actually have the minimap. Now it's back. The other thing that I do like about it is that it can help you to get to some great places. For example, okay, I want to make some tools. I'm looking for copper. So I click on the copper and it shows me where there's copper. There's a lot of copper there. So that's where I put my copper mine, by the way. What I don't like so much is you can't see where have I built things, right? Like I don't see any houses, cities. We should be able to see that. Next thing that I think they should improve is the tutorial. The tutorial was very, very dry. Like the first mission in the tutorial is something like build 10 houses. Okay, sure. Second mission, reach 150 people. Okay, that's great, but how? Like you haven't explained anything to me yet, right? You haven't told me how do I get people. You haven't suggested if I should start, a bit more with the food, or if I should start a bit more with first making some planks, anything. Similarly, we do get events from time to time, which is great because it keeps you engaged. But for example, one was, oh, you need to send an expedition to your neighbors. I had no idea how. It wasn't telling me anything about it. Next, I think they will probably add it because you can see the button over here of copy, but yeah, a copy tool where, you know, I press C and I can copy a building and just build it again will be very important. Especially because I do think that the building UI at the bottom doesn't really work well. Because let's say that I need more rice. What I'm gonna have to do probably is to add a rice farm, but I also need to add a warehouse. So I need to first click on production, click on the rice farm, then click on spatial, then click on the warehouse. That doesn't work for me, right? Like it should be a lot less click to build something like this. Or similarly, when I want to build a couple of houses, so I'll build a couple of huts, right? But then I'll need the other buildings that are linked to it. For example, I'll probably need the shrine, as we said. Then I'll probably need a decoration. So I need to make multiple clicks. I don't think it's organized like it should be at all. Or we would need a lot more shortcuts, for example, shortcut for the warehouse. So all in all, I do think this game has a lot of potential, but I still think it's a bit rough around the edges. It's a bit hard to explain, you know, it's not like there's a checklist to create the perfect game, because I think there is a lot of good potential, but to be honest, I didn't have tons of fun playing it. A lot of it was linked to what I just mentioned, things like multiple clicks to create any production or any part of my cities, the fact that the UI was a bit dry also at the top over here, the tutorial that didn't really engage me, some of the small bugs like the minimap, also small things like it was often very hard to see where can I build and where can I not build. On the riverbank, for example, like to know that this is buildable but this is not, like why? What's the difference? Similarly over here, this is buildable but this is not, like why? You know, what's the difference? It looks the same. So to plan in my production, it was very hard. And last but not least is I don't know what else is coming. I don't think there's gonna be any military aspect in this game, which I'm not saying is a deal breaker, but what else? You know, is it just you have one map that is handcraft and you're going to build something? Or will there be specific goals, achievements, you know, a campaign, mission, those type of things? So that's what's also still missing for me to really give a review of this game, right? Like I know it's not the final version, it's still a playtest, but that's where I'm at. It reminds me a lot of Builder of Egypt. A lot of great potential, but I'm not ready to pay for it yet. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. You know, do tell me, have you played it? What do you think? Is there anything I missed? Smash the like button, and I hope to see you next time.